Okay, let's talk about it. Yo, what's popping in the streets? I believe, therefore I am. King Siler. What's good with y'all, everybody? We back at it. Hope everybody is well rested. We are here post week of Rookies versus Vetz 4 Genesis. I'm here with the event review, so let's go ahead and jump into it. First and foremost, before I say anything else, big shouts out to all the people who actually made the trip and made the journey out here in Texas. I know there were a lot of uncertainties before this event, and a lot of things fell through, which we'll try and jump into obviously here, but big shouts out to all the people who actually came out and made the trip. It meant a lot. Obviously, what's most important is that it's the people and the community. The culture can follow afterward, but most importantly, it's the community, because of course without the community, the culture doesn't continue forward. And of course, without the culture, we don't come together as a community. So they both go hand in hand, but most importantly, people is what matters first. So thank everybody for coming out to the event, because without you guys, it would not be possible. So let's go ahead and get started right into it. So obviously, unfortunately, we had quite a few battles that fell through. Some of them did come through, but a good majority of them didn't, unfortunately. Probably about roughly about 70% of the battles that I was anticipating to see didn't come through. Just a few of them. T-Hawk versus Crisis happened. Spuggle versus Guns didn't. 08 had to sub for Guns. Spirit versus Neutron didn't happen. Freakazoid had to step in for Neutron. Then we had Mirage versus Lady Stain. That still happened. We had Lycan versus Royalty was canceled. Didn't happen. Mowgli versus Worthy was a good battle. That still happened. Shouts out to Mowgli. This fool basically low-key called me he thought I was a square when I met him. He flat out told me at the after session on Friday, he was like, Sal, I thought you was a square, bro, but you a really chill ass dude. I was like, oh, word, bro. I was like, yeah, bro, I ain't no mark, man. I'm just really low key, man. But again, that was a funny interaction, our first meeting, so to speak. But shouts out to Mowgli and Worthy. Had a really good battle. Then we had Empower had to step in for Narcy, was not able to make it. He ended up battling Mad Scientist. Scheme versus Brute didn't happen. Stain actually stepped in for Horus to battle Savage this weekend. Unfortunately, Horus told me earlier this week that he wasn't able to make it, as well as Guns. And then let's see, Mr. Wow versus Matrix didn't happen. Found out last minute that wasn't happening. Debo versus Rock Solid didn't happen. Kakia versus B-Rock did happen, which was a good battle. Princess Lionheart was not able to make it, unfortunately, so Ruga stepped in versus Lil Chosen. Then we had the Dropouts versus Rowdy Rough Boys did happen, which is Rowdy Rough Boys is Brims and Little Machine, and Dropouts are Landmine and Sick. That battle was good. Definitely picked my morale up, because like I said, again, we did have quite a few battles that did get canceled. And I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling kind of down, but the second day they definitely picked it up, and I was glad to see that battle. It was a nice back and forth. I did have an interview with them later on that evening. I thought I saw it 1-1, but of course, they're gonna argue. They thought it was a land sweep, but it is what it is. Big shouts out to them. I just appreciate both of them for bringing a good battle, which I enjoyed. Then we had the Sluggers versus Nightmares, which is Young 07 versus Slugger, and then Nightmares is Kai, and yes, I'm using your name, or better yet, me Lord and the Jester. If you saw the video, you understand that. But they definitely had a really good, can't even really call it a battle, unfortunately. Called that one. Nightmares ended up one-rounding the Sluggers in the first round, and they did really well. I look forward to see whoever they battle in the next 2-on-2. Then we were going to have Killbots versus Fear. Unfortunately, Fear was not able to show up. I spoke with Queen Lionheart and Lionheart, and they told me earlier this week that they probably weren't going to be able to make it as well. So the Rock Solid fam did step in. And unfortunately, this particular battle, I did have a lot of high expectations for. This one kind of let me down personally because, first and foremost, shouts out to Rock Solid. Rock Solid did win the Know Your Rank tournament. And he had been dancing the entire weekend, so it kind of took off like that anticipation of that wow factor of seeing him dance, maybe for the first time that night because he had been dancing so much. And shouts out to, I believe it's Baby Rock Solid or Kid or Boy. I do apologize. I don't remember which rank you are, brother, but shouts out to you, bro, for stepping up. I know you're still a rookie in the South and you're still kind of within like your first year, if I'm not mistaken. So big shouts out to you for coming out, man, and stepping up with your big homie and hopping in the 2-on-2. And they didn't have a lot of time to prepare from what I saw, or which I believe. I don't know. But neither here nor there, they still were able to come through. And one of the bigger downsides as far as that as well is that Heartless and Lily did not have any commandos or any teamwork in any way, shape, or fashion. They just kind of went out there and just threw some rounds out. And it kind of defeated the purpose of being on the tag team. Like, if you're going to be on 2-on-2, it would almost be pointless for you not to do commandos. And they literally didn't do any at all. From what Heartless was telling me, they weren't able to get in contact, and they weren't able to put any commandos together. So yeah, it was a good battle, overall. But in terms of 2-on-2, I was just kind of like, Then we had CCRFK versus Mad Titans. I definitely thought this was a good one as well. Kind of called it the way I thought it was going to go exactly. Chosen and Tetris got in there in that first round and literally took the entire air out of the room. CCRFK definitely came with it. They were definitely definitely took like the more of the battle route. It didn't look like they had too many like tag moves prepared with each other, like really intricate movements. But this particular battle, in my personal opinion, didn't really need it. Not gonna say that it wouldn't have been nice to see it. That's not to downplay any of the other 2-on-2s, because I still think it's very important. But this particular battle was such a show that it was just like you really didn't pay too much attention to it. But in that first round, Tetris and Chosen's chemistry and their stage presence was just completely overwhelming. Whether you hate it, like it, or love it, you can't hate on that. You gotta respect it. Like I've been in the room with two of the best 2-on-2s in the world. I've been in the room with Crush and Solo. I've been in the room with Crush and J Crush. I've been with Rap and Crush when they battled Pun and J Pun, which is Disco. Those are two amazing 2-on-2s. They work really well together. I think I said Tight Eyes and Miho already before. I've been in the same room with Project and Show Off and stuff like that. I've been in the same room with Beast and Q before. So again, I've had the privilege to see some of the best 2-on-2s in the world. Unfortunately, one I haven't really seen is Slam and Ugly Fate in the same room. But neither here nor there. Either way, I'm just simply saying that it was their chemistry was A1. That seemed more like a theater, or if I was watching a play more so than watching a battle. So again, hats off to both teams. CCRFK was definitely in there. They were not going down without a fight, and they definitely delivered. So I enjoyed it through and through. The tournament was good right up until they did that numbers thing. What they did is basically they gave people random numbers. When you made it to the top 16, you had to battle a random person outside of the crowd. And I ain't gonna lie, personally, I wasn't feeling that too much, because it was just like, when I get into a coliseum, or if I'm fighting, or if I'm in a tournament or something like that, I don't want to battle somebody who's fresh, from the stands or from the audience. Because again, you may have already seen me dance one time, and this person may A1 be fresh and they have some lab moves or whatever, it's just kind of like that wow factor is there. I put it in comparison like this. If I hop in a tournament or something like that and I make it to top 16 and then I dance and then someone calls number 5 and Crush hops out there and he's got to rebuttal my round, I'm gonna feel some type of way. One, because it's just like, damn, you kind of want to know your opponent, so to speak. Even if you don't know right then and there, at least you see them walk out there. But also as well, it's fucking Crush. You know what I mean? And this fool is about who may potentially be more experienced than me. Because clearly they're not gonna pick whack people. You know what I mean? They're not gonna put somebody in there who doesn't know what they're doing. You're clearly going to pick somebody who knows what they're doing. So it's like that person's gonna know how to rebuttal what you just did. You know what I mean? You make decisions based off of who you see and who you're battling. So in my personal opinion, it was kind of it was nice to see at first, but then when you think about it, it's kind of that's kind of fucked up. You taking money out of somebody's pocket who didn't even, or taking money or taking opportunity away from somebody, who paid and you didn't. So I was just I wasn't really feeling that too much. But And of course, please make sure that we have 3 judges from now on. So that way there's always one person who's always going to make a decision. I understand ties happen and stuff like that, but that didn't personally work. No disrespect to Tetris and Jizer. I think they did an amazing job. Only battle that I think I would have probably had a different opinion about was the J-Fit versus Lyrical. I personally thought that J-Fit took those or edged them kind of both rounds. Or no, the first round I thought they were tied, but that second round I definitely thought J-Fit had it. But again, neither here nor there. I respect the judge at the end of the day. Shouts out to Mammoth as well, brother. You did a good job as far as emceeing. I know we were shit talking to you the entire night, man, about, you know, if you do a good job or if you do the bad job, we're gonna hassle you, man. But nah, you did a good job, man. Still a little rough around the edge, still a little new and stuff like that, but I appreciate your segment, bro. You were promoting the vendors and stuff like that, you know, showing love to the community as we're supposed to be doing. And of course, shouts out to Mammoth. He's dropped an EP. If you have an opportunity, and if you share this, definitely make sure that you go and cop his EP. The man can really rap. I don't say that lightly, because there are a lot of people in Crump who think they can rap, but they really can't. And we know this, but he's not rapping on Crump music. He's just rapping just to rap. So shouts out to him. He kind of gives me that real boom bap feeling. So again, make sure you go out there and cop his EP that's just recently come out. The best highlight for me was definitely Tempa's speech about the legacy or the state of where Crump is right now at this particular point, which was for easily for 85% of the movement. Veterans, OGs, heavy hitters, rookies alike. Like, that applied to everybody, you know. And just to keep it short, you know, what I kind of got from it, a lot of it is just like Crump needs a lot of healing right now. You know what I mean? Like, we need a lot more integrity and a lot more communication. Not enough communication and integrity is happening on a fundamental level inside of our community. There's always like something going on behind the scenes and not enough people just simply standing up and just acknowledging like what needs to be changed. There's too many politics in here. You know, one person who's known or famous or something like that doesn't get, you know, blasted or get held accountable because of how popular they are, or, you know, saying something that's clearly, you know, having an unpopular opinion, you know, but is the right thing, doesn't get acknowledged because you're not politically known or you're not famous or you don't carry a name. Like, we have to get back to a point to where like we're upholding a certain level of integrity in this community, or eventually we will fall. And she did talk to, you know, and I'm summarizing it like a lot, you know, but she did talk to the point as far as like, you know, finding out like what it is in this movement that, you know, what it is in our lives that hurt us, that made us come and act and Crump the way that we do. So if you haven't had the opportunity to definitely go listen to her speech, you need to do that right now. Like, stop this video, go to the Crumpers page, look up Tempa, and go look up her speech, because it was absolutely amazing. And I think it applies to everybody at some level, but it applies to 85% of the movement on a personal level. So again, that was definitely my best moment in terms of the entire weekend, no question about it. So that's really all the notes I got, or all the feedback that I really have as far as for the event. But on a professional level, I personally think the event needed a lot of work. There were a lot of things that I definitely saw that were kind of lacking. You know, and if I'm being fair completely, as someone who comes to an event, you know, as a customer, as a paying customer, you know, when I show up to an event and I see that 70 to 80% of the battles that I was anticipating seeing, or I was, you know, in a sense, you know, going to come to see, or in some way, shape, form, or fashion, you know, it was not broadly communicated that these people weren't going to be showing up. I understand that you don't want to kill the momentum to your event, but when you tell people that these things are, it's kind of like you didn't say that they were coming, but you also didn't say that they weren't coming. You know what I mean? Like, I'm paying $15 on day one and then paying $20 on the next day, and I'm really only basically paying for, you know, in a sense, like, not to be mean to anybody, but I'm basically paying for these substitute battles that I didn't ask to see. You know what I mean? A lot of these battles, in my personal opinion, would have been more beneficial towards the session, you know, not necessarily because it's, you know, it's their fault because they knew that they were battling. It's because, like, again, like, there was not proper, you know, this wasn't properly planned out, you know, and ultimately, like, I personally think it kind of fell through the cracks because I sat there the entire Saturday night, and I was just, majority of the time I was uninterested. You know what I mean? There were a couple of battles and there were a couple of moments, but it was just like, you know what I mean? Like when you pay to go to movies, you pay to be entertained. And, you know, when it comes to Crump, we know exactly what we're getting, but I felt as though like I didn't get that. You know what I mean? So stuff like that, and that just for everybody. You know, it's not even just for this event directly. But if stuff like that happens, like you got to do something with y'all's price. You can't charge people to like, okay, you want to come to the Super Bowl, and then when we get there, it's a high school football game. But you still charge the NFL prices. That don't sit right with me. And we already discussed that beforehand when it comes to like, you know, again, when it comes to the movement, like you got to make sure that you're giving back to get. So all in all, like I said, the most important thing is community, and I loved simply just being around the people. That's what was most important for me. So overall, I think it went over well, but I definitely think there was some stuff that we, you know, that event you need to work towards, like doing better next time, so that way people get what they're paying for. And I know a lot of people made posts and stuff like that saying it was a great event. That's what's most important. You know, people saying they had a good time, that's cool. One person's opinion is not gonna matter, but it is important because I only know because people used to put me and Alan to the same type of scrutiny when we did, and Disco when we did Beyond Buckness and the Resurrection. You know what I mean? Stuff could go way left field, but we made sure that we give people what they asked for, and we definitely didn't charge, you know, that amount for the event weekend. So all in all, it was about the community, and I was just personally just glad to see people there. That's what I care about. But in no way, shape, form, or fashion do I hope that Rookies versus Vetz stops. I just think maybe next time it should be put on a smaller scale. So that way it's easier to kind of control, and, you know, you produce a more higher quality event. All in all, I ain't mad at it. Could I wish for more? Absolutely, but we'll just have to see what happens next time. So that's all I got, y'all. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share this content. Again, we need to get back to integrity and being honest. That's how we hold our community accountable. I hope I'm doing just that here. In no way, shape, form, or fashion was this attack anybody's character, but it's important. Whatever that you put your soul into, that's what's going to be produced when people see it. So, food for thought. Peace, love, and happiness. Y'all have a good evening.